going on with Nexus. You know, they must be thinking about this. They must see this coming, and they must understand, you know, what that's going to give. But first off, let's go into the knife round and see who comes out on top there, who starts off on Nuke here, and obviously who starts off on that CT side.
Yeah, you would assume them to pick that side over the T, as, well, T side isn't always that favored. You have to go rather aggressive, doesn't always work out. As you do see Dennis, of course, that legendary Swedish player, now moving up. Playing in the NIP still, his HLTV picture is him wearing an NIP jersey a long time ago, as Gruz and his friends are now moving up, getting closer, and this is a little bit of a cheeky stab coming in, and it seems like Nexus started off quite well, and they will win as well, so most likely they will start on that CT side. Of course, we also have to say it is Apex their pick, yet possibly baited out by Nexus, as we would assume them to have banded out, looking at the HLTV win rates, and of course also the play rates, yet they didn't do that. They're probably bringing some crazy stress, possibly bringing out some very good preparation against the side of Apex, as this is their most played map together with Dust 2.
Yeah, that is a solid point that you make there, of course. 18 times that they've played this map in the last 3 months, and that does mean, well, you know, a potential chance for Apex. You know, it's something that they should know, something that should be comfortable to them, something that they really know how to handle. But we'll see, okay? It is Nexus that, of course, starts out on the CT side. They won that knife round. So let's see if now on the CT side they'll go off to a good start and they'll, well, obviously, prove that I was right.
Well, maybe you will be, maybe you won't. It's going to be Ake as the sole player with utility, and he will actually have a flashbang and a frag grenade. Frag grenade to blow open the door. They might go for a Van dive, yet they're waiting for the flashbang to come in, as Dennis now takes down BTN. It's going to be a very long-range kill, of course, with the P250, dealing some damage on towards Raga as well. IM will be close by at the hut, and they will be cleaned up so far, until there will be one kill in return. Make that a double, as Cello also takes one. But I am currently in that lobby position. We'll move up with the 5-7. Should have actually done that, because now he lost his life, as well as I am, leaving only Seminti alive. He will go down as well. Apex with the first round.
Yeah, Seminti there from heaven, trying his hardest, but eventually not really succeeding. Apex who start off with a nice seat, or a nice T side even. And Nexus who for now might have to take in this loss. But let's see what they pull out on the second round. Looks like they are obviously buying as well, that they're going to make the best out of it, whereas Apex, well, they're obviously just going to extend their first round win. They're going to try and keep that up, and they've also got the weaponry for it by the looks of it.
Of course, with the bomb plant coming in, Apex will be quite happy to just have a little bit extra money sometimes to have the utility. 300 euros for the player that actually got that one down. And now there will be that force buy from the CT side. Scout on towards outside. All players actually with armor, which is interesting to say the least as well, with that scout to come in. But now Nate's also flying in, dealing a lot of damage on towards the T side. Both Truth and Marcelicious are now a little bit lower than they would have hoped to be, as they're grouping up to go towards ramp. Seminti also with a nade could actually get a kill, and indeed he will deal a lot of damage. Every player now tagged on towards that T side of Apex. Yeah, they're still alive, and that might actually spell trouble later on for Nexus, looking at all these AKs. And of course a Galil. Seminti going to be flashed out at the dark spot, will be having some support at the window area. Yet Apex is not committing. They're still waiting. They might actually go back up. Yet they may have lost lobby control, as there is a player standing by, and it will be going to be Raga with the first kill. Of course, your highlighted player, one you know and love, as there will be some utility flying in. Truth trying to get a frag in return, but the truth is they're low, and those pistols will deal easily with the remaining players on the T side, and Raga as well outside of that lobby area will now go towards the roof. Ooh. But in the meantime, there will be a kill for Dennis. Now we have a 4-on-4. It's going to be slow, but look at the time as well. 20 seconds left. They have to now go for a side. And it seems like they're trying to commit towards B. Dennis leading the charge, trying to spot out whatever he can, but he will be waited upon by BTN. He will get a first, not a second just yet, as Raga will go down by AM. Will get one onto Marcelicious. It's going to be a 3-1 as Seminti chimes in, and he will get a double for himself, making it a round in favor of the CT side. And this is a very good force buy.
You can really see there, to be fair, you know, what the low HP on the Apex side meant for them. That really was the problem. Also, Nexus here, recovering quite a lot of vital weapons has to be highlighted. They clearly made the best out of this round, came back very well after the first round loss. And so far, well, that does bode well for them. And Apex, they did get the bomb plant, has to be said as well. But now it looks like at best they're going to be going for a pistol, well, I'd say pistol buy maybe at best, but for the rest they're going to have to save.
Well, at least they had the bomb plan. It's something to work with. It's something that actually helps you propel in towards this round. And you can have a few 50-50. Some deagles in the next round you can buy in full. They want to deal as much damage as possible on towards that Nexus side, trying to at least dwindle down the economy, which still is rather low. Of course, they still had to buy 2 big rifles, not having an AWP just yet. And of course, utility to work with as well. Braga will go for a peek, will now throw a great nade. Yet the damage is not really that big. Of course, BTN comes in with the first frag, now deals another bit of damage on towards Dennis, as there will be more players falling on towards this yard area, leaving only 2 alive with, well, a Glock and a deagle.
Yeah, that makes things quite tough for Dennis in truth. Dennis, one of the, the only Swedish player on the Apex side, goes down to some Inter there in the end. Truth here tries for the garage frag, but doesn't end up succeeding as BTN takes him down. I wonder, would BTN just stand for button? Or what?
I wouldn't dare to say.
No, right? It's
I'm not really that versed in Romanian culture.
I do have a Romanian friend, you know. I wonder if he knows the CS scene.
Oh, well, that could help.
Yeah, who knows? You know, call in. What do you call it? Call the helpline. The
Lifeline.
Yeah, the lifeline. Thank you. That's the one. Oh well, we'll see. Nexus so far doesn't seem to be needing a lifeline. They've gotten the round advantage now, whereas Apex are still struggling. They got that pistol round win, but so far that's all they're getting. Raga here going down into Secret and potentially holding it off well, especially if they're going to push on to this. He gets the first frag. Will he get any more? Looks not to be like it, as he gets refragged by Gruss. Now Apex has the opportunity to push through to Secret and get to that B bomb site, whereas BTN here is holding it off on A. Now you'll see Apex actually pushing through here. They will encounter some resistance, and the 1Digs aren't present as Saminta manages to frag Gruss.
Going to be Saminta trying to contest that dark corner spot as Zello takes down 2 players for himself. That's a rather clean round coming in from the CT side, now leading 3-1. And this will mean that Apex, of course, now finally can buy in. Yet, of course, they've now lost their lead there. The odds are still actually in their favor, but I'm not sure for how long if Nexus manages to buy, or not buy, win this round, because they have enough money to buy if they lose one.
I put in a $5 on Nexus. I'm committing to my choice here. Yep. Didn't specify the map odds, I will say, though. I just put in that Nexus is going to win this, obviously on Fire.gg, as we've said before. And the odds are slowly even turning into their favor, so who knows, right? It all depends on how well the Nexus players play it out. Comes down to a player like Raga here really showing up. However, here, this player, Marcelicious, also want to really keep an eye out for Apex, one of their top players.
Well, we do see him standing rather close to this main hut so far. No real push coming down from the side of Nexus. Sometimes a player will go aggressive, and Apex is trying to hold that off if they can, as they now go for outside control themselves, with Truth holding down the lobby area. Often there will be a cheeky peek coming in, and here we do see from the radio area 2 players moving up. Truth will go down to the AWP of Zello. And that means they will try to go for an A wrap around, but another player will get a frag for the Nexus side. I am on side, will get a double, drops the bomb as well, and then Raga and Saminta come in. That is a clean round again, losing only 1 player. You can already see some players actually moving on towards the $10,000 mark.
Solid play so far by Nexus, really clutching or, well, grabbing onto that CT side and starting to have a solid hold on it. And if I can see chat correctly here, BTN is beton, which means concrete, apparently. Look at that. We're getting
it's the same in Dutch.
Oh yeah, actually, beton. I do wonder if it's beton. So did they say beton or beton?
No, it's beton.
I suppose chat will help us out on that.
They're saving us. Beton. All right.
That's
we'll
really
try
funny.
to keep it in mind. Thank you very much for, of course, your help in figuring out foreign names. We see already a player going down on towards the side of Rush, or at least he will go low. As then Dennis and Marcelicious will actually get some frags in return. Actually, 4 kills coming in. And this is the classic. Oh, we have pistols. We'll just go peek with deagles, and apparently it just works. we now have Raga in a 1v4 situation, but they don't know where he is until he opens that door, and yet he won't. Marcelicious moving back to recover the bomb that's still on the outside, and Raga will get yet another frag for himself. And that means we now have a 1v3. Low HP, of course, Dennis and Gruz make that only 2 players left standing. And this is a little bit of a crazy round. It could actually be a 1v4 clutch as Gruz is now holding the angle towards the A side. And look at this, Raga is moving towards that side. Now will spot the bomb as well. And now he knows he can just hold the angle, try to hold it up. Be a little bit scared, of course, for the rooftop. Dennis is now on the hunt, will lose the fight as well. And Gruz, low HP, yet also only a deagle.
Ooh.
Having to clutch his 1v1 to not give it into a 4K for Raga. A 1v4 clutch, of course, against Nico. Yet a 1v4 nonetheless. And oh, his timing will be off. Gruz will get the frag as Raga looked away just at the rooftop at the wrong time. A second round for Apex on their eco win, netting them a decent amount of money, yet they didn't survive with all that much. And it's going to be a rebuy from Nexus, but look at the reserves they still have. If they lose yet another round, Siminti, he will be out of money, but the rest might actually be a little bit more lucky.
Yeah, there's a solid chance, of course, for Nexus now to still win this out, and you can see the buys on both sides pretty much being equal at this point, you know? AWP, one on both sides, utility, rifles, armor, etc. So everything's fine in that regard. Let's see now, this means that we're also facing off against a round with equal odds, you could say, and the opening frags are going to be even more critical than usual. Truth here from Lobby, holds close, but gets fragged by Raga through the smoke even. Him taken out, and who knows, is this the start that Nexus needs to this round, or is it going to be Apex that still managed to turn it into their favor?
Well, we do see Raga standing by to possibly get yet another frag for himself, losing out on that 1v4 clutch. It could have been, should have been, we dare to say, yet it wasn't in the end, and well, it hurts him and his team. Yet, of course, with them being able to rebuy, no problem whatsoever. Maybe in this round they will bring it back in towards a 5-2, and then Apex, of course, will still have their decent loss bonus. But will it be enough to turn it into a goodbye? I think they do need to have a bomb plan for themselves.
That is a good little milestone to start things off with for Apex. And now it's starting to look like they could be getting closer to that. They're making their way onto the site, but the hold from Beaton is going to... I'm still worried that it's not maybe it's the pronunciation that's just like the Dutch, you know, maybe it is literally Beton, but let's go with Beaton for now until someone might, corrects us. For now, the push onto the site is coming in. Beaton is hold, might be strong enough, but Aki's actually gets the first frag. Siminti taken out. Good nade damage on Beaton as well. He does manage to get a frag on Dennis, though. Marcelicious then coming in clutch, taking out Raga, one of these star players on the Nexus side. And with that now, Gruz continues. I am out of the running as well. 3v2. Odds can be equalized out a little bit. There's somewhat more HP on the Nexus side, but now it's all down to Cello, and he does spot one player. Goes to the Deagle frag. Now it's to drop down with the AWP. Oh! Lovely no-scope. Excellent work by him. Now it's down to a 1v1, and it's Gruz again who has to hold out clutch.
But the time is running out. Is being a bluff called by Gruz. There will be a stick coming down, and Gruz, of course, knowing that when he peeks in, either Cello has to go for the frag or for the round, and he will fall in the end. So no weapon saved for Nexus. Of course, they still had a decent economy, having possibly enough to rebuy apart from Siminti and Beaton. But the rest can bring that AWP, and indeed, Zello will buy. They also know they've killed the entire Apex lineup. And Apex didn't have too many reserves for themselves. Of course, they can buy winning a round. But will it be enough to have some utility to work with as well? Very good bluff being called there by Gruz in the end. In that 1v1, once more a clutch going in his favor. That's 2 already in just the 7 rounds we've seen so far. Cello with the AWP will go rather aggressive, going in close on towards this red container, but missing a shot means Acast gets a frag. Now a 5-on-4 AWP, possibly to be recovered, as we do see a trade coming down on towards Raga.
That's a solid chance to turn it around. However, it's still Nexus with the one-man disadvantage. So let's see what they make out of this. It's going to be down to IM, for example, to get this frag, and he does succeed. Gruz taken out. Now he can fall back here into main, into the site in Siminti. His 1D potential wasn't quite there. Marcelicious now does spot out, but he whiffs a kind of important shot there, an important spray. Marcelicious goes down. It's a 2v2 now, and a knife! immediately comes in from Beaton so early into the day. That's the first time I think we've seen it happen that quickly.
Well, of course, it happens on Nuke once more. It's like, oh, they're just standing together at the red container, not even considering it could have been an enemy. That's indeed a knife coming in. I dare to say this round went south and Marcelicious had that choke, but of course, I am getting a kill towards Gruz that should have been covered off. So that's a big mistake coming down from the Nexus side of things. The plant will possibly come out from Truth as he now will commit. Players already rotating in. Two of them, of course, coming. One from ramp, one for the double doors, and that's a turn. Yet it is too late. A round coming in from the CT side. And Beaton will go for, of course, the AWP dropped in yard and recover it for the next round. And of course, his good friend Xello. And that means that we now have at least Apex losing yet another round, but still they've actually made something work. Had that bomb plant going, but I think it will just be a pistol upgrade in the coming round.
Yeah, Nexus so far are doing well enough. However, it does have to be said, you know, Apex, they are kind of on their heels. They've got 3 rounds so far on the T side, which is really not that awful on a map like C, or on a map like Nuke even, which does have that slight C2 advantage. Here we see that knife again. Excellently done by Beaton, taking out Dennis. And now let's see if Nexus can keep that advantage going and increase it, or if it's going to be Apex coming back now. Unlikely with this buy, but it is still possible. We've already seen it in this map.
Well, we do see Raga moving up as, of course, there is a very good buy once more for Nexus. Raga out of money, just like the rest of the team, have to revive quite heavily, and that CZ will not get the kill on towards Raga. A double for him. I am also helping him out. As only Beaton and Raga will now go down in a 1v3. Dennis moves up with an AK. He recovered off that floor. Now having a 1v2. Make it a 1v1, and this might be an ace. Dennis doing the work, and I wish I already bet on the knife and the ace to come down on Vital GG, because then I would have been rich. As so far it's going to be Seminti holding down, of course, full HP, full utility as well. One nade could do the trick. As Dennis with armor and an AK, yet the armor doesn't really matter that much on 24 HP. That M4 could really take him out quite easily. As we're biding our time, and Seminti, interesting position at that T vent. But the bomb dropped in a main as well. Dennis not trying to contest it as he knew, or actually didn't know, where the player was. Seminti holding the right angle, having a very good read. 6-2-3, and now finally a clutch going in favor of Nexus after already losing, I believe, 2 or 3 1v1s in the past.
Yeah, that is a dangerous thing for them, but now, like you say, they can come back. See a stronghold by Raga here again from main, you know, has to be highlighted. Takes a triple kill, but in the end, look at this, Dennis, how swift and calculated that was. Lovely one taps from him. That did give him a solid chance to win the round, but alas, the ace couldn't be true. He couldn't make it happen, and with that, Nexus grabs the 6th round.
Well, if that would have been a round for Apex with Dennis clutching an ace, I would dare to say that would be the biggest tilter Nexus would have had. They've already lost against an eco before. They've already lost 1v1s before. And to lose yet another one, and especially the comeback that Dennis brought in towards that round, I don't think they could have actually bounced back from that mentally. Yet now we have a full buy coming in from Apex. Not really too much utility, but at least it's what they can work with to possibly get an execute going. Out of shot from IM on towards the A hut. Waiting, of course, for a player to move out. Xello in secret. The problem is he's already lost a Raga, and that means we are on towards a 5-on-4. As we're going to see Truth standing by as well, but this is a flank from Xello. We'll get one, we'll get a second. The third player will eventually fight back, but there will be the outer shot coming in from IM, getting yet another frag for himself. That's $1,800 already made, and now only Dennis will fall as well. Just a cheeky peek and an easy fire. That means we now have a 7-3 scoreline in favor of that CT side, in favor of Nexus as well.
Strong start for them, and makes them also, gets them closer to the round and, first half advantage. You know, once they get on that 8th point, they will actually end up the first half with a advantage regardless. See, Xello again, he did try and he got a 2K there, but in the end the triple wasn't in it. Still though, Nexus gets the round win at the end, and that's the most important thing there. We'll have to see now if Nexus can continue, if they can keep this up. They're facing off against the Eagles. They should be able to do this, you would say, but as they faced off against the Eagles in the past, it didn't go that well. Case in point, Dennis gets the first frag. Xello, however, his hold is good enough. Gets a double kill whilst Raga tries to hold off. Look at that! USP taps all the way. Grus does get a 1D himself again, but IEM now gets Truth, and with that, it's only Grus left standing. He's looking around, but he can hear the sounds. He can get a nice tag in, but that is going to be just the tag as Seminci frags him. And
someone
NEXUS
dropped down. He fell and
no.
died, and that's actually an unfortunate indirect triple kill coming in for the side of Apex. And that's a lot of damage being dealt on towards already a low economy for the side of NEXUS. And if the player would have just survived, no problem whatsoever. And what was there to go for? He already had a rifle. So that's a very big waste coming down from CT. At least they have 8 rounds. At least they have a very good lead. However, this time around, they also have to face an AWP on the side of Apex. Marcelius will take that in towards his hands as he's walking up with his butter knife, and IEM is standing in the molly.
Well, I guess it was a little bit cold, you know. I don't know what the weather is like in Romania this time of year.
I expect summery, because of course it's on the European continent. Yet we do see IEM now throwing in a nade. Grus going low, most likely a wallbang of some sort, or at least some shots through a smoke. As there is a little bit of an attempt made by the side of Apex to bring something in return. The auto shotty once more, seeing play. And that is a very scary thing for the side of Apex. Normally you say, oh, it's just an auto shotty. But so far, in previous matches as well, Taz playing for Loris on towards this map, and also now IEM on towards this map. They were able to get some kills. Now Grus will go down, wallbang from Raga. However, 2 kills coming in favor of that Norwegian side. Beaton will be standing by right here, but he will fall swiftly to another headshot coming in from ACAS. That means it's a 4-on-2. IEM with the flank of a lifetime coming in with the auto shotty. Truth is at close range. It might be dangerous, but Truth with a very swift headshot, making it a 1v4. And most likely the WP to be recovered and the round to be saved for Raga. At least Apex will get something in return. Yet they won't be winning the first half, as there has been that lead already established by NEXUS, winning 8 out of the 15 rounds.
Was a solid attempt, but it is Apex that gets the upper hand now, and of course, most importantly, the 4th round. Raga can take this AWP with him to the next, and who knows, if there's a player that might have to clutch with the AWP, I'd expect him to be it on the NEXUS side. You know, I've highlighted him before we started here. He is the player with the highest rating, a whopping 1.29, I believe it even was. So really a considerably up there amount, also far out compared to some of his teammates, who were reaching 1.14, 1.15 at best. But who knows, right? NEXUS now going into a round with, I don't believe, really the best buy, but they're going to make it work. Whereas Apex is actually starting to build up their reserves just a little bit.
Still the odds in favor of Apex, as it seems they are most likely on the long run the stronger team. Yet we shouldn't forget this is the map pick of the Norwegian side. And of course NEXUS actually coming in as the lower ranked team is doing better. Having only played Nuke once in the past 3 months, according to HLTV, as Elena also has the opening frag on towards Grus once more. And he's not really feeling too well so far, going either low or going down rather early. Cello now playing in towards main, a little bit scared, of course. There is a pressure coming down usually. As Seminci is standing by on towards his boots, will get a double with the MP9, goes for a third, and indeed he will. No head armor on the side of Marcelius. He didn't buy it in the previous round, so I think he didn't actually upgrade. As now we have Dennis coming in, possibly clutch, but I'm not really expecting another ace clutch from him.
Aw, but what if he really wants to show? That's so sad. What if Dennis has aspirations, Chadrick? What now? Look, he starts off so well. Gets Xello there, lovely headshot, manages to upgrade to an AWP as well. This might be the second coming in.
But there's a player in Squeaky, and he will peek in soon enough. The door will open, the peek comes in from Beaton, and that means we now have 9 rounds going in favor of NEXUS, hunting down for those double digits from the get-go. And if that happens, Apex really needs to step up on their CT side, really need to get things going, especially starting at that pistol. Here you can see indeed Marcelius not having that head armor, and that means it's an easy frag coming in for the MP9.
And of course, not only easy frags, but also easy money, with an 1800 bonus there from that triple SMG kill. Good start for NEXUS, and who knows, if they pull this off now, they could actually end up their first half with double digits. They just have to keep Apex nice and low. They started off in a good manner. Xello takes out Truth. And there is a little bit of an engagement here on outside. Marcelius trying, but a smoke being thrown in return. Beaton now trying to use that smoke to his own advantage. Oh, but he gets spotted out. That's dangerous. Does manage to make it out with his life, but Gracia with this position. Xello comes in clutch.
But why would you go on there? You could expect the player to move in as Gruz now gets one frag, wants to go for the AWP player in towards CT. Problem is, from, of course, a main, Raga will once more be playing. Gets a frag on towards Marcelius, being spotted out by Akaz possibly, as there will be another kill from Gruz. Yet Akaz is still holding the angle. If another player will peek, that could be the equalizer player-wise. Yeah, they also know that Xello is in that CT area. He's a little bit stuck. So if they do go towards that B bomb site via secret, they might have just a 1v1 or possibly a 1v2 if the other players have moved out. Xello now being spotted out will be flashed as well. Molly coming in, will throw an incendiary back. That means it's a little bit of a self-aggress. Will go down to that Molly, still standing in it. At least he will get his own trade from beyond the grave. Akaz moving up, possibly towards Ram, but there's a player to his left, deep behind the box as well. And he will not be expecting this as Seminti jokes on towards the spray. And Akaz is not running through. 20 seconds left. He has to get a move on, but still get one kill. I am now also dropping down, but look at the time. He will just have to wait for the bomb plant noise and have to go for a peek, as there is now the plant coming in, but he will come from double doors. He will try to spray. He will get a good tag in, but his ammo, it is out. And Akaz is moving in closer. Possibly could go deep if he wanted to. The smoke soon to dissipate as well. And he actually has a very good angle. Moving back in, something that I would not be expecting you dare to say, but into the water he goes. And yet another round picked up by NEXUS, going in towards double digits so far. And Apex are, well, struggling on their T side.
I'd say sleeping with the fishes, but I don't think there's any fishes in that water.
Radioactive bubbles?
Well, apparently, you know, it's funny actually. That's something. Do you know XKCD, the webcomic thing? They're very popular. You know, no idea completely. They made this comic. Apparently, you can swim in that kind of water.
Really?
The fuel rods, they're all down at the bottom. Yeah, this is really scientific. Basically, the water, it dissipates the radiation. So if you're near the surface, you can just swim in that perfectly fine. It'll be a comfortable temperature even. The more you know, right? You can actually swim in that kind of water. I believe, you know, based off that comic.
I'm not sure if they would allow you to.
No. That's the fun thing, apparently. That's something that he remarks in it. You know, he asked someone who actually works at a nuclear plant, and they said, "Oh yeah, you could swim in it, but you wouldn't be able to reach the water. You know, they'd have shot you before you actually get there."
No, that's understandable.
Yeah, pretty important to keep those places safe. Anyhow, point being now, NEXUS, they get their double digits in. Apex, they are still on 4 rounds. Now, would you say that this is an expected COLT side score, or if this is a bit subpar, if this is underperforming?
I think Apex is currently not really living up to the hype. They didn't really play too differently in most of their rounds. Usually tried to go for a little bit of an outside pressure, yet didn't really commit on towards a secret push themselves. Usually, of course, also being stopped by a player from NEXUS playing there, but most often actually being peeked out by Xello, or try and go for a main and being stopped by either Raga or I am playing there.
Yeah.
And most of the times those trades really went in favor of that CT side, and Apex just can't come through. Going towards ramp, haven't done all too much. Going for an A execute, not really either, but if they would have, I am usually standing by with the auto shot is also, of course, very scary. Needs to come in, dealing a decent bit of damage at least. That makes it easier for kills to come in with the M4 as well. There's flashbang to fall, and there will be another shot hit as Xello is standing by with the AWP. Moving in swift towards the double doors. And this is an angle very hard to contest for that T side. He will dodge the first flash, then will go for a shot, but problem is he has to fall back. Yet he is not out of the woods just yet. True, you're running out of ammo as now Gruz has the opening kill of the round. And Glocks baby, as Raga is still standing at the defense. Gets 1 kill, will go for a second and a third as well. It is a trade from Gruz, but still a 2-on-2, and they need to get this plan down soon to at least get a timer going and possibly put down some pressure on towards the NEXUS side. Player coming down from a main. They won't be expecting this. The other player coming from there as well, as it will be Xello in towards that lobby. And his AWP in hand will make it hard for him to clutch, but at least he's already close. He's trying to single out the players. One at the CT fence. The other one currently moving around and trying to flank himself. And could this be another knife or just a clean one-tap on towards the head of Xello? Trying to now go towards Quickie. There will be that player. Flick not in time, and the round goes in favor of Apex. Ending the half at least on a high. Still 5 rounds behind, however.
Yeah, there was a close chance there for a moment. I think he also had the risk. You know, he could have, I believe there were AKs on the ground there, but of course if you switch weapons, that's going to make noise. They're going to immediately know where you are. Raga here, if this had become a 4K, there could have been a solid chance for Nexus, but in the end it was only that 3K. Now, to be fair, has to be said, not like that's, you know, bad or anything. And you can also see Raga coming out on top, although, of course, I do have to say, Xello, he is pretty close up there, you know. He's really performing. It's those two players that kind of prove themselves to be the talents for
yeah, but
the
it's
Nexus
also
lineup.
because Apex is constantly pushing them. How many times have they tried to contest either outside or just A main in general? That makes it so easy for Raga and Xello to at least get those frags in, and so far they've done really well. And it seems like, well, Apex needs to win this pistol. If they don't, I think they're in a world of trouble, and Nexus might actually be able to run away with things. But we also have to admit that Apex won that pistol on their T side, yet won, or at least lost that force buy behind it, as Nexus was strong to come back, and now they are strong enough possibly to muzzle their way in towards the A side. Hearing some players jump by for those USPSs. Inferior on close range, then the Glocks now moving in with the execute as well. First kill coming in from Raga. No, Truth will get one. Dual Berettas, baby, as he will try to be that Wild West cowboy, going for one and another. But the problem is, the players are already falling, and there's only 2 kills in it for himself, as Dennis will get one as well. It's going to be 10-6. Apex winning both pistols, but can they follow up this time around?
That's the question, right? Because they did indeed win the pistol in the first half, as you said. But it's the follow-up there indeed. You can see there again, good hold here from Truth, really, along with his teammates. Those dualies, you know, like a cowboy is the best way to phrase it.
Yeehaw, baby, as Dennis will get the last kill indeed, 10-6. Apex now having quite a bit of SMGs going for him, knowing that Nexus, of course, didn't get that bomb plant in. Chances are high that they will go for that eco, and indeed they will. There will be a Deagle already taken down, that was Xello, and there will be Beaton also going down to Marcellus as well. The Deagle still on Ceminti, might actually come in later on, but he's been tagged up slightly, as now the smoke will dissipate and Marcellus out in the open. Easily to be fragged, MP9 to be recovered, locks on range, stepping better apparently than an AUG. Well, this hurts, as we do see a 2-on-3 situation, and Truth will get 1 kill before being traded by Ceminti, and he's now moving in from that A main roof. And Akaz knows he can't really over-aggress right now. The player is moving in, Ceminti trying to get an angle, but a drive-by comes in, and hopefully they can still save that AUG, because otherwise it will be a little bit of a shame, and indeed, Akaz is there in time.
In the nick of time.
10-7. At least they follow up this time around from Apex, but they had a lot of trouble against an eco.
Yeah. And that might be a good sign for things coming up for Apex now, you know. They might be able to continue this. Logically, they would. Nexus does try to invest this time around, and they should actually have, whilst they don't have the utility, yep, armor and definitely the rifles. Only a little bit of utility on Raga and Beaton, basically. Apex now, they will either have to be stopped in their tracks, or they're just going to continue the steam train, and they will continue proving Nexus that they might be the better team after all.
Choo-choo! As there is an SG on the side of IM trying to tap it out, and he will win easily against Dennis, being denied, not having a headshot for himself, as IM only tagged up slightly, having some teammates already trying to rotate. Oh, please, Truth, get a weapon in your hand, as Xello is standing by, will get an easy frag. They're not respecting the outside pressure from the side of Nexus, and it's really showing. Last round as well, those Glocks even getting some kills on range. They're underestimating their opponents, seeing now Apex lose more and more players normally, but Truth will get a double kill of his own. The problem is Marcellus will fall soon after, leaving only Gruss alive. Actually on that B side, and it might be a very good gamble because the bomb is moving there as well. Yet now going towards the ladder, of course, there is a player on towards A already. They know it is a safe side, they know it's a safe plant, and I would assume it to be a safe gun for Gruss as well, as he's trying to move back towards CT.
Let's see, though, what he is going to, yeah. He's going to take that AUG with him, or the AUG even. I do prefer saying AUG, actually. I don't know.
What?
You prefer saying AUG? Really?
Sounds more powerful. And I think really the AUG needs that, because, of course, the SG is the superior brother. And there was a time, a long, long time ago, where the AUG was just a laser.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. But do you nowadays, do you actually still use it in game ever, or do you just go
I've never.
Never?
Even when the SG and the AUG were so strong, I still prefer the AK. Because my brain can't comprehend that I sometimes have to scope.
Yeah, I get that though. I do understand that in a way. Although I do like the SG sometimes, you know, and the AUG. I like the scope on that. Sometimes it's really nice for holding down a bit more long range. I feel like you can control your recoil better. I guess it's
easier to tap.
Yeah, it's maybe it's a bit of a feeling thing as well.
And, well, no offense, but sometimes we've seen your eyes aren't always the greatest. So that zoom might actually help on the long range as well.
Maybe.
Make the pixels bigger, you know?
Yeah. Maybe you've got a point there. Yeah, you know, just have to. I'm going to get, at some point in my life, I'll get laser eye surgery and everything will be fine. But anyhow, you know, talking about lasers, let's see if Gruss can actually use this saved AUG as a laser and hold off the site, or, well, in this case, secret well enough. It's going to come down to him. If his hold here isn't going to be on point, then maybe, just maybe, that'll be another free round for Nexus. Right now with a 4-round advantage. They've gotten one so far in the second half. And they have a chance to really come back on this now, to start bringing out that advantage, to start building it out, and to show Apex that they are the better team after all, the Romanian powerhouse.
2 AUGs on that side. First kill coming in from Marcelius. I am going down, and I don't think they would expect Gruss to peek later on. Smoke wall not to be set up, as Marcellus will be boosted up on towards his blue box, but yet another player. And why does he run in like a madman? Gruss now also going down, and I dare to say that was a little bit of a waste. You knew he was walking towards you, and then walking in towards the smoke. You don't really have a very good chance of winning that one. A 3-4, damage at least being dealt by the side of Apex. Yet they need to get those kills in as well as Seminti. He's holding down Lobby. He also needs to grab the bomb not too soon after, as it is still on the outside. Indeed, he will recover it. Getting a little bit of support from his teammate BTN. Will now go down. It's going to be true with the follow-up as well. Once more, a force blind might actually work for the side of Apex. And that's a clean kill for Make. He wants to go for yet another, but why would he peek solo again? Seminti low, 15 seconds. He has to go for A, and he gets a kill. Only Dennis alive, and he's actually dropping down towards B. There still will be just enough time to get it planted, but Dennis will go for a hunt, and indeed there will be the plant. Of course, he just has to deny it, and that will be the round. AK saves, but Apex could have played it out cleaner once more. And that's a thing we've seen many of times happen. And that is what worries me for the CT side right now. They're wasting money time and time again. And luckily they were able to deny the bomb plant as well, because otherwise Nexus would have a lot more money. Have actually very good upgraded pistols, possibly armor as well. Now just a few upgraded pistols and not really much utility I would expect.
None, even I'd say. There is no utility there. And let's see if that means that Apex gets a free round this time and not Nexus. Still the free round advantage going in favor of Nexus, but that can be slimmed down, that can be, well, overcome, I guess is the best way to put it. And we'll see if that does happen. Marcelius, he gets a good scout kill on Xello. Good start of the round for Apex. Started off better as Truth gets Raga down. Dennis even continues Beaton out of the equation. And Nexus now, with only one man left standing, it's him, and he doesn't really have much left.
They played a clean round.
That was actually very clean.
Insane.
Well
they
done.
haven't wasted a single bit of money.
Yeah.
But now they have to face against a full bot Nexus, and that is what's scary. They've just had a freebie, and maybe they will over-aggress, but maybe they will just play it smart. Usually, they don't really, or at least from what we've seen so far, we haven't seen much good refrags, not a lot of very good crossfire set up on that CT side. However, now up against the odds, possibly, with Apex being rather strong and still in the lead, they will have to play together. They will have to use their utility to perfection. And now we do see a boost coming down. Gruss doing what Seminti did before. MP9 on towards that ramp boost position. But of course, we now have to also admit that Nexus at least all have had armor for themselves.
That might be something that they need, especially against these M4s, you know. If you don't have that, then it is just a one-shot headshot, but that's not the case now. We'll see, though. Right now, the site holds from Apex are patient. Gruss here with a position that we've seen before, but he doesn't manage to use it as well as I believe Raga did in that previous
one. Seminti was actually there, as we do see Raga now moving down. He's gotten that refrag quite easily. Was Nexus jumping around, putting some stress factor in towards the CT player. But there's again an early rotate coming in. However, it might be too late as B-side control is for Raga. But Akes, he's actually standing by and they won't check this.
Oh,
this
no.
will be a double. Yes, it will. Bomb being denied. The last player on towards ramp. Tagged up. Yet again a frag for him as Akes will go for an overcommit. Something we've seen so many times. They're playing for an ego. This time they went for a good refrag. Yet they should have lost a player less. Going to peek solo against a player at ramp. Is there a reason? No, you've just denied the bomb plant. You can just wait for your team. And if he goes for a save, I think that's better for the side of Apex because they wouldn't have lost any players. And their money situation, of course, now Truth and Marcellus will have money, but the rest is all down to almost zero. And they really need to build some reserve for the moment. The Nexus either has a very costly force by pistol armor or eco, or they will just lose a round entirely. They need to be able to rebuy later on. As we do see a ramp rush coming in. Will there be utility? Will there be some nades? Beaton will go down low as Russ is already falling back. And this means they have given up a lot of positioning as Marcellus. What are you doing? He will get a frag, but he should have gone down, and maybe he will, as there will be the peek from Zello. Luckily, Gruss actually with the follow-up, leaving only Beaton alive. Low HP, checking out his beautiful Tech 9 skin. And now it's the 1v5, but that scared me. Marcellus with the molly, coming in so late and seemingly so free of care in the world. Just walking in saying, oh, I'll peek, I'll get a kill, and then afterwards we'll see. Head being spotted out, I guess, with a beautiful flick to come in, and eventually also upgrading to that Tech 9. Happy to spam that out. But now, on equal score, 11-11. We will have to see if Nexus is able to win another round. If they don't, Apex has the lead, will have momentum, and might actually have some money in the pockets as well for the rounds to come, and that is where it becomes really scary. Taruf and Marcellus, of course, with very big reserves. The rest, slowly getting there. They need to win some clean rounds, and it's interesting to see that the CT side currently playing without an AWP. Which, well, more often than not, you do see teams play with. Marcellus going close by, but he's under pressure. I am knowing that it might be a play, but there's actually two. Dennis with the first frag. Marcellus could just stay there, but he's gone down to B-Tom. There will be a refrag coming in quite early and quite quickly as well from the Nexus side. Now being contested a little bit by nades, but look at how low the utility count is for the side of Apex at this moment in time. Only 2 smoked, a nade and 2 flashes remaining. And that's scary to say the least if they do have to hold off a push.
Well, I do think that they still have it in them. They can do that if they need to, but it's going to come down to the frags from players like Dennis, like Gruss. They have to come in clutch where they can. Right now, it's a bit of a slower play. A bit of a delay. Lobby slowly but surely being pushed through.
The player going down towards B just at the moment. Nexus is setting up for a possible A take. Because looking at a player also being towards Hut, they won't go for a drop down. Truth standing at the fence will most likely be mollied. Indeed, there comes the molly. There is a little bit of a waiting. Then, of course, he will go for the peek. Gets 1 frag before being turned around. Akes going down. Then there will be Gruss with the bomb drop. That's at least some delay. Nate, however, deals little to no damage. As Dennis goes through the smoke, will go down as well to Beaton, leaving only Gruss alive, trying to flank around. 20 seconds left. The plant soon to come in. And Gruss is really going for that slow flank. Will be checked upon. You dare to say gets 1 frag. But Beaton with the refrag brings it into the court of the T side. A Romanian 12-11 lead. And now, of course, we will see a rebuy with all of the economy going in towards this round for the Apex side.
Well, Nexus, let's see if they can carry on that advantage, though. You know, right now, I'm not too confident about them just yet. Still have to see and, you know, wait and see even, I should say. And see if Nexus can now keep this up, if they can continue this, because it was still a very costly round. Of course, it was a one-man left standing on their side. So Apex, they do, in a certain sense, still have somewhat of an advantage, because I also believe that they had a full buy now, using the reserves that they built up in the last few rounds. And you can see it as well at their utility levels, whereas on Nexus's side, those are mediocre.
Well, they have a lot of money on the side of Nexus, so they don't care. They're just going to buy and do whatever they can to win another round. 13-11 would be great, especially on the T side.
Would be great for my prediction.
Would be great for your prediction indeed. However, Apex, they now have a... Oh my god, Truth, you've got a USB, buddy. Please go back and get something. I'm not sure. There was an M4 on the ground. Did they miss by, or indeed he has now gone back and picked up that M4, he forgot it, and that means a player, I believe Yushi also an A player to be later on towards the side. That could have been a rush working for Nexus if they did go for it. However, luckily for the side of Apex, they were able to stall long enough and not to be rushed. 12-11 the score right now. Apex needs to bring it back if they do want to have a shot of winning this map. Of course, their own map pick as well. Which means it's scary, to say the least, as Nexus seemingly very strong. The Romanian powerhouse going for the yard take. And there is that AWP on towards Marcelius. And will he be able to contest and support Dennis?
Well, that's the main question. It could be down to Dennis to really take in this round for Apex, but right now it's not quite looking like it. Truth's hold is okay, but it refrags him. Dennis, though, this time he does come in clutch from Garage. Gets a double. And oh no. He's lost the bomb control. No, Nexus. A shame for them. Gruss gets the last frag and takes out Xello. That was mainly a play based around Dennis there from Garage. If he hadn't gotten that 2K, then...
Well, he was also lucky that Truth was able to delay them by peeking in, at least getting one kill and then stopping down the second player. But the player from Nexus turning around to fire back against Dennis. Look at this. Turning around, of course, then the bomb drops in towards that direction, made it a little bit easier. And then AKS also coming in, gets another kill. That round was done and dusted. Now we do have Apex on a good buy. A little bit of reserve, not all too much. Having to once more face off against a pistol and of course some armor of Nexus. Their nade utility usage, very good. But Marcelius in this position should most likely be refragged. He's standing on a position where he can't go down the stairs and he will be spotted, and indeed he goes down to Beaton. A spray from the smoke, Dennis will get two, but of course to be contested by IM. Of course, it will be a refrag as well, as AKS standing close in A main. Yet, costly round for Apex so far, and still a chance that Nexus could win it. AWP to be recovered, now going on towards that main upper as well from that Romanian side. Xello standing by as they are biding their time and not really committing on towards the plant just yet. One player in heaven for Apex. One player going down in towards that ramp area. And the other one currently just still sitting on side. They're waiting. They're not really going for a B-side contest. They're expecting Nexus to make a mistake.
And it's fair, you know, to do that, really, because Nexus, they have that one-man disadvantage. They have the worst odds, so to speak, but it could be...
He's going to find Gruss rather soon. Truth also moving up. And how is Minty still alive? He got tagged up. However, Gruss is waiting for his teammate. They're doing something right, as Xello will be trying to spot out the player moving down. Here's AKS with the first frag. Only Seminti alive, and he's currently in dark spot, playing the smart game. Trigger finger, baby. And the Tech Knight could come in clutch later on. There will be a peek, and this time Gruss will eventually find him. The defuse to come in from Truth as well, as they all have a defuse kit. It doesn't really matter, and they're now looking at it. That's a beautiful C4 you have there. Too bad you're now in a deficit round-wise. 13-12 coming in for Apex, but they have to face yet another bye. And this could be, of course, once more a comeback from Nexus.
It would be along the expectations, you know. These teams have the same kind of tactic where it is a bit of a back-and-forth game where the one team buy or where the one team gets the round and the other catches back up. And with that, you get those close kind of situations, those, well, potential overtimes, right? We've predicted them, so we wouldn't be surprised if we saw them. But it all does depend on how Nexus plays out this full buy. If the AWP, for example, on Xello comes in clutch, if their utility usage is on point, and once again, if they just get a good opening pick somewhere. Let's say that they take out Grosser on ramp, they could push through to the B bomb site, and then they'd have an opening, they could just get the plant down and force it into an after plant.
Well, quite often when teams do get an opener towards ramp, either they rush through, or then try to delay a little bit, because of course there's usually a player from the A side and also rotating off towards B. That means there's a little bit of a gap. Truth is already standing by on towards that main, or at least the A hut, I dare to say, excuse me. And he's waiting for possibly a peek to come in from Squeaky as Gruss spotted out the AWP from Xello. Dodged his shot because he's living in the Matrix. It seems like Nexus is trying to contest him. Now Gruss still standing by, gets the first frag, drops by, and this is proper play on towards ramp. Marcelius holding down the angle. If they do drop, but then Molly will eventually deny his position. Tries to contest for a little bit as now Beaton takes down Dennis. That's somewhere else entirely, and that means that now Nexus is back to a 4v4. Grus going aggressive. Why would you do that? Well, apparently it works. You might have expected them to go back towards the A side. As now Truth goes aggressive as well. It's going to be a 3-2-2 situation with the plant coming down, and Marcellus and Akaz possibly doubting on towards a save. It all comes down on towards Akaz being able to at least open up the score and bring it back to a doable 2-on-2 situation. 2 players low, which means a headshot would do the trick, but the problem is Akaz is now down, and Marcellus, you should fall back with the AWP. Now getting a kill on towards Beaton, and then indeed choosing that AWP rather than dying, but there is that equalizer coming in.
And I don't think that Marcellus, he doesn't stand much of a chance anyhow. And that AWP, that's a nice take with you, that's a nice thing to take with you to the next round. But now equalizer indeed comes in there, and that is kind of along the expectations of the both of us, We both kind of saw it happening. We both expected this, and well, it makes for a close map, a close match. And with that, we'll see though if Nexus can actually keep this up now, or if it's going to be Apex throwing it back. If it is going to be that real back and forth game until, well, the end of this map, really. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if that would be the case, but right now, Nexus, I'd say, well, they are looking a little bit disadvantaged, basing it off that economy, although right now Apex hasn't really bought yet. They still need to get that utility in there, so with this being what I assume to be a tactical timeout, let's hope my Spidey sense is right, and also assuming that that is the most logical, the most sensible thing from either team, really, not necessarily just Apex, but also Nexus. Nexus to perhaps reiterate what they need to do, how they need to keep this up to actually win this map, or of course Apex to have a quick look at themselves internally and to ask what went wrong there in that last round, what are we going to do differently to try and take this back?
Well, most likely not to go too aggressive and at least rotate appropriately, because now we did see some crazy stuff coming down. Pistol armor from Apex, hoping to bring it back, and well, so far we've seen some crazy runs work for him, especially on towards Ecos, but that was mainly on towards, of course, also that T side. Grus moving up with the AWP of Marcellus safety in the previous round. There's a player rather close. IM will be standing by, will get the first frag, will be getting the second as well, and that is, well, most of the power from Apex gone. No player boosted up there at the ramp, as of course that would be a quite heavy investment. But I wouldn't be too surprised if they would say, well, we're pushing with 2. If we go down, you could have the Nautilus shotty standing there and possibly have a double refrag. Truth still standing by, but the bomb will go towards B. And it seems like his rotate is too late. Hopefully trying to get some contest on towards radio and then maybe save that AWP once more, because I think that would be highly valuable for that Apex side going in towards the next. Beaton will be dinged, yet does not go down. And it is currently a 5-2 situation.
Yeah, and with this, I'd say that they don't really stand much of a chance anymore on the Apex side. One of them is on outside. It's only Akaz here, who's left here from window. Could maybe get the 1 or the 2, but doesn't really end up getting that as Saminta frags him out. Leaves only Dennis, and now it's starting to look like this might be a clean Nexus round. No loss for them, good for their reserves, and very important now towards the end to carry along with them.
Well, Siminti did a very good drive-by there in the end and is trying to hold down the angle. Dennis tries to recover the AWP, but I think it has actually been removed by the Nexus side. Because of course you don't want to give any valuable weapons over to your opponents, especially on such a cheap round. At least they saved up on the side of Apex, being able to buy in towards this round. However, Nexus now once more in the lead, and it's getting close to possibly their first map win, as they're getting closer and closer to probably giving you back what you deserve, and that is your prediction to be right.
Yes, that would be delightful, wouldn't it? Just imagine that I'm right for a change, that I would finally try to earn back some of my investment. Dennis starts this round off well, though. Looks favorable to Apex again as he gets the frag on IM, or IM even, if I've been reading chat correctly.
Well, it's 5-4, yet there is still that AWP on towards Cello. And he's done some great stuff so far, as he's been able to open up rounds left, right, and center, especially on the CT side. So if he would go to overtime, I'm a little bit scared that Nexus might be able to bounce back as well. Also, it's going to be at least a little bit of a slow round. Nexus going in towards lobby, and they might want to go for yet another A wraparound. There's one player coming from outside, the other players currently in lobby, that would make the most sense. But as Seminti goes down from a peak of truth, as the squeaky door pressure alleviated. And now Raga trying to move up with his team. Zello looking around the AWP, trying to find a pick, but Akaz, he's standing by on towards the side, and Dennis is maybe going to peek later on. This might just be the right timing. That's a great pre-fire coming in from Zello, now trying to hunt for more on towards A. Will he be peeked by Dennis? Hello, are you there? It's going to be Truth getting a double, and Dennis luckily with the last one as well. Standing on the side, waiting for contact of his teammates, and it came in the end with a very convincing win. That means there's enough money, also saving that AWP from Zello. And once more an equal score, and the odds still rather in favor of Apex.
And I think that maybe this is now that incredibly close situation where Apex, they could turn this around, although it's a full buy on both sides. So I'm still not sure what way this round is going to go. Honestly, it could just as easily go to overtime, but it could just as easily also become a sort of two-round streak here.
He walks through the molly. They didn't spot this out, and now he's trying to move up, gets a frag on towards Dennis. Akaz luckily with one refrag, and Truth standing by there as well. Like, what the hell just happened? It seems to be a little bit of a bigger peak possibly to come down towards A, but as a close squeaky door, Raga is moving up outside, and it's going to be Seminti dropping down Gruss. That is some pressure on towards the ramp area. Luckily to be denied by Marcelius, bringing it back to an equal 3-on-3, but Raga will be on top of him. On towards Heaven, and I'm not really sure Apex will be expecting. They shoot, because of course they left that outside area open. And there's a player to his left. Truth will now go down. However, Raga should be refragged by the other players, as now Akaz will get a frag. No, I am moving in. It's going to be Marcelius alone, and he will be taken out quite easily. It's 15-14, and that means that Apex is now behind a match point, or actually a map point rather, for Nexus on towards the map pick of their opponents.
It is either going to undoubtedly be overtime, or it's going to be Apex kind of, well, I don't want to say choking it out, but they're just going to have a worse buy, you know. You can see it as well now. All the cash has been expended, but their utility level is low. There's incendiaries and flashes. It's going to be very tough to really make that work. The incendiaries are going to have to come in clutch, but I think that there's a solid chance that this could be a clean Nexus sweep now that they really finish off. Oh, but Marcelius here. That scout could be dangerous. He falls back at the right moment, though. Beats on here on top of Silo. The opening picks need to go in favor of Nexus. Otherwise, Apex have a solid chance to throw this back, to take this back.
Well, we do see Raga moving up. Nexus looking strong so far, as we do have Dennis standing by at that main area. Going away from it, not really feeling as if he's able to contest, of course, not really getting the support he needs without the AWP being there. Marcelius still trying to contest, will now actually get a kill towards Zello. And that is once more the opener for Apex, but in the previous rounds as well, we saw them not always bouncing back too well themselves. It's going to be, of course, still a lot of deagles coming in from that Norwegian side with that little bit of Swedish flair. They will get another tag. IM goes low towards Marcelius. AWP being recovered by Raga. Yet another peek coming in. Another kill as well on towards Beaton. And that makes it into a 5-on-3. And Marcelius is not done yet. He's trying to hunt for more. And Raga also now being tagged down on towards his legs. But finally there's a kill in return. Nexus, will they be able to hold off overtime as they have gotten their first frag in? And it's still doable. However, their HP is going to be rather low. Committing towards the A side. There is a player at the T fence. Will they be able to clear him? Also Gruss on the rafters, standing by with his deagle, but they're not spotting anything around this area. This might be a clean run from Nexus as they now move in. The smoke will give it all away. They're going for the plant. That will be the first kill. Gruss trying to go for the knife. He's not hitting it. There's still a player in there. Hello, Dennis with a double kill. And it will be overtime in the end. It's going to be Apex bringing it back, and Nexus, unfortunately, baking a little bit too much against that scout from Marcelius. And that means they have now lost their lead. And we will see if they will be able to regain something in the round to come.
One overtime down, 2 left to go, you could say, right? Nexus, of course, are now going to be starting off on that CT side, as you mentioned earlier. And, well, you were afraid.
No, Apex is starting on the CT side.
Oh, there you go.
They're, of course, starting on the side they just were before.
Exactly. So then there isn't really much of a problem. Then there is a solid chance that Apex might actually win this out and maybe actually get that solid CT side start. And with that, really be able to pull through. So close. And for a moment, it really did look in favor of Nexus with the buy that Apex had, but Marcelius came in clutch there, you know? If there's a player on the Apex side that really needs to show up, then you would say it was him. He was also the player that I did highlight for Apex, although at the same time, he is actually one of the people on the Apex side who has fragged the least.
Well, one thing which really intrigues me is, of course, always that in overtime, sometimes saying that CT side is favored doesn't really work out that well. The T side bringing some more aggression or different plays, of course, being able to full buy every round they can. And let's see what they can pull off. Beaton going for that yard pressure. Last time around there was a scout. This time we have two AWPs on towards the Apex side. However, they're not really able to contest as of yet, and it seems like it will be a secret push coming down from Nexus. They're not making a secret of it with the smokes, of course, at the yard area. But Marcelius is standing by with the AWP, trying to hold down an angle. And, well, if they will eventually come in, he will be able to do so. And this is quite interesting. He's holding a very laid back and far back approach, because normally players are standing more closely. And I'm not really sure if Nexus will be expecting that peak, as of course they're now moving up. A incendiary coming in from Marcelius will at least give away. He's playing there. He's now trying to hold down the single door, as we do see actually ACAS going down. Dennis with a refrag on towards the Minty. It's going to be Marcelius falling without getting a single kill or point of damage in. And now Gross with the AWP trying to get something in. He will do so. There's still a 3-on-2. And the plant will go down on towards that B side, giving the favor to the Romanian side. They are going to plan, but Gruz with yet another frag brings it back to a 2-on-2. Damage being dealt on towards Beaton. This nade will go on towards Cello, so he's lucky. But the P250 also coming in. They know one player is low, but can they find him? As there will be the wallbang on towards Beaton. Only Cello alive on that side. Gruz with a 4K. And that is how you retake with an AWP, just waiting for the peaks. And the Norwegian side will take the lead in that first round of overtime. Yet there are still so many to be played out.
4K even from Gruss there in the end. Solid wallbang, to be honest. That was one of the key moments in that round that granted Apex the win. And so far, of course, off to a good start for them in this first overtime. Could very much be looking like Apex are going to continue it and keep this up now on the CT side. Whilst Nexus might be scratching their heads, might be wondering, what went wrong there? Of course, money-wise, there shouldn't be too many issues, right? The overtimes are $16,000 ones, so that is the least of their concerns, luckily. Let's see now, though, if Nexus is going to be able to pull it back, or if it is going to be Apex that continue this, that will keep their little streak going.
Marcelius outside, quite aggressive, and Dennis will get the first frag. Follow-up from Marcelius. Now they have to fall back a little bit, but the problem is a 2-for-2 trade might actually favor that T side, because now the CT side defense will be spread a little bit thin, and as they're going towards the A side, Truth has just gone off, and that means ACAT goes down. Russ with one to be returned after, and IM will get a second as well, a 4K for himself in this round. And that means we now have a 16-16 scoreline. These teams are incredibly well matched. And I just can't predict who's going to win now.
Oh, you're starting to be uncertain. You were pretty convinced about Apex from the start.
I figured Apex, you figured Nexus, but so far it seems like Nexus, from the get-go, really strong, and they have a good chance at winning this map. And of course, this is the map pick of Apex. Then on towards Mirage next.
Danger zone.
It could be a 2-0. But it could, of course, also see Norwegian teams winning right here on towards Nuke, and then bringing it back into their favor, possibly winning 2-0 themselves. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 3-mapper.
I think that potential is still very much there. Maybe it is the question mark of, is Apex going to win their own map pick? And if they don't, how is it going to look then? Right now, it still looks favorable towards Apex. Dennis once again opens up the round, gets a good frag, spots Raga there, shoulder peeking, but in the end, it is Marcelius who actually has to finish Raga off. You know, Dennis, he did the brunt of the work. He made the start. Marcelius,
but he's making so much noise. They know he's currently in garage. He spots him. He peeks away, and he was quite happy to have Marcelius play aggressively in towards Secret, now having that second angle to fall back on. ACAS take down Siminti. Now we do see a shoulder peek coming down. Marcelius, of course, another angle to be peeked out. Now he will get a frag. It's going to be IM to clutch it out in 1v5. It's going to be hard, but at least he brought in that first kill. However, we see Apex also trying to go for the hunt at the flank as well from Dennis to come in. However, we've seen Apex play these kinds of situations rather poorly in the past. often going for 1v1 peaks time and time again, and that would favor IM. He's moving up, currently at double doors. Dennis will throw a molly in towards his position. IM is moving up, trying to get the second kill for himself, but that's a clean finisher. 17-16 in Apex. Now in the lead after this first half of overtime. Yet now they have to go to the theoretically unfavored T side.
And let's see if the one round that NEXUS managed to get their hands on is going to be the one round that they need to finish it off on the CT side. Of course, they would need to put down a clean streak. They would need to get the 3 rounds in a row to actually make this a win for them. Otherwise, well, it could just as easily happen that Apex gets the 2 rounds now and finishes it off. Or, of course, that, well, we go to a second overtime, because why not?
It would say, or at least it would seem, to be in what we used to see here at the Vital.gg Legend Series. Let's have a little bit of a wait for what is to come. Apex on the T side, just like the CT side, being able to buy whatever their heart desires. We do see a little bit of a change, however. NEXUS not going for the double AWP as we saw from the Norwegian side. And, well, I do prefer it to be like that, because then on the retake, you can maneuver a little bit. If you're wanting to play a different angle, it's easier to do with an M4 than, of course, the AWP, because it's rather preferred to play long angles for yourself.
Definitely, definitely, but, well, sometimes it's tough to keep playing those long angles, you know? Sometimes they get forced into short-range battles, and, of course, those short-range battles don't really work out so favorably if you've got an AWP, unless you are some sort of no-scope god.
Well, I'm definitely not. Whenever I try, I do fail, as we do see now Gruss taking the first kill on towards B-Tom. That's going to be on towards that A side. AM setting by on the rafters, will be spotted out. A great wall bang from Gruss to follow things up. And he's doing well as they're going for the plant. A 5v3, of course, still able to come back. Yet the positions from Apex, of course, also the players they have, will be quite vital. Dennis now taking down Seminti, you dare to say, but he chokes out as Raga takes down Truth. Back to a 3-on-3, and Gruss, of course, being low from the get-go. Molly blocking down the CT fence player. It's going to be Apex looking at the fire. He will go down in the end. A 1v3 for Marcellis with the AWP, gets one. Will go for a second soon, but he will fall through Zello, and that is a great comeback from NEXUS, winning a 3v5, and what a choke from the Norwegian side. First a chase from Dennis, not really necessary, I dare to say, and he will fall first, and then the rest is history.
But how lucky was Raga's molly as well, you know?
Not lucky, calculated.
Well, yeah, but I believe Apex, you can see it again here, right?
He's waiting for the spread, if it will spread at all, and, well, it will. He should have actually run out from the get-go, trying to go for the frag and have Marcellius peek towards main as well, because then at least they had a 2v1.
Yeah.
It would have been low, possibly would have died, but at least it would have been a trade.
Yeah, it would have been better chances, you know, but now he died, and, you know, he may have just been the player dying that lost Apex the match there. But, you know, it is what it is. That's in the past now. Let's see how NEXUS continues this. They do get tagged from the get-go. Xello, serious chunk of damage gone from him. I don't know if it was a wallbang or a leg shot, but we'll have to figure that out later on.
Wallbang, because the leg shot always nets you at around 15 or 14 HP. And now we do have Apex, at least in that regard, quite a little bit in the favor. We also see once more Dennis just sneaking in towards Secret. That's the same thing we saw in the last round. Then he choked out a little bit. We forget that. No, it will always be in my memory. Yes, we do see Akaz now going down, or at least low. It's going to be Dennis with first frag. Can't connect the spray transfer on towards Raga. Yet ramp control gained by the side of Apex. Will they be able to contest on towards B? It's going to be hard because there's 2 players already standing by. I believe a third soon to come in as Seminti cleanly tapped away by Drew. But Raga now will spray down. It's going to be the lineup. And once more the player lead in favor of the NEXUS side. And Apex is now a little bit baffled. Trying to regain that bomb control. Truth will eventually have double doors control. And might they try to go towards the A side? His barrel has been spotted. I believe they shot at him, and now he will get 1 kill on towards Truth as well. Gets 42nd. Gruss going down. That's map point for NEXUS once more. Last time around, they choked it. Threw it away to Apex. And then we had overtime. Will we see it again, or will we see Apex coming in short once more? Because so far their T side in overtime hasn't seemed all too strong. They are close, yet throw away possibilities, as they do line up from time to time, and we saw a very good spray come down from Raga again.
I'm still full on, you know, solid going on my NEXUS prediction. If they win this map, which was, of course, well, we have to highlight again, Apex, their map pick, then there are very, very good opportunities. But let's see how their defense is. They started off well. Xello takes out Dennis. That might be the start Nexus needs to take this round, and of course this first map. Let's see though how they continue. Truth also severely tagged up. Marcelli is not able to hit anything through the smoke there. And IEM, his spray down continues. Doesn't end up connecting to anything. Raga here though, he should be able to see a leg. Goes for the lobby spray down and he succeeds. That's Gruss taken out. Nexus getting closer and closer to that potential victory now. The first map would be theirs. They would win their opponent's map picks and that would be vital for them. Raga now here on top of Hut. Gets the frag. Truth down. Goes to the P250 follow-up, but that isn't quite there. Marcelicious, along with his teammate, 2v, make it a 1v4, and in the end, it's Beaton that gets the frag on Akez. Nexus win this round, win the map, and they get the first one so far. Map, of course, being Nuke, being Apex, their map pick, and this was a critical play from Nexus here. In the end, they managed to shine through. They managed to be just a little bit better, and with that deservedly played, now Nexus getting that first map so far, and your prediction looking a bit shabbier and shabbier.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared that Nexus is coming on strong from the get-go. Of course, now winning indeed, as you said, the map pick of their opponents. And, well, it went to overtime. But still, they managed to make it work. And going on towards Mirage, that is a map that they could actually still win. And that's going to be rather scary for the side of course, Apex. They know they have to step up aim-wise. Yeah. This time around, especially on the T side, you saw Dennis usually getting some control in towards Secret, but the rest of the team not really able to push through properly. And, well, if you do have the pressure, you should be able to convert it into something, but they threw away rounds, especially the first T side round in overtime. That should have been a given, a 5v